Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin, and if you needed any further proof that basically the only thing that we do different here is record.
Yeah. That's the only difference here is we hit the record button.
Yeah.
I think we should do more just like recording us talking because our conversations are fun too.
Yeah. And we could do a lot of. I mean, This Week in Our Collective Heads is a pretty big and all-encompassing thing. That was kind of the idea.
Yeah.
And so to expand into other areas, I think would be a lot of fun. So if there's stuff that you want to hear our opinions on besides gaming, we are available for that as well.
Yeah. Tech, movies, random collections of things.
Yeah, because you do a lot of like movie analysis and stuff, and part of that's part of that falls under the channel and everything, like what we're doing now. But there's also a lot of like history and storytelling theory that we've had good conversations about.
Oh yeah,
enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
But here today, right now, we're here to talk about video games.
Yes, we are.
So we're going to start off with, as we always do, with the slew of backwards compatible games because
this is my best list I think we've seen in a long
definitely.
time.
So Major Nelson said that the backwards compatible team is going to take some time off, and like they're done for the year, and so they're going to take some time. They're going to come back in January, but they wanted to give us kind of a last big hurrah for 2016, and they're also celebrating two things. They have crossed the 300 backwards compatible threshold, which is awesome.
Correct.
And I applaud them for that. We will continue to be really excited about that. That's a really cool thing that they've did.
Yeah.
They've
done.
Nope, that's not how words go. And then the other thing is that he tweeted that, or actually this was Phil Spencer tweeted that almost 50% of Xbox One users are using backwards compatibility, which is awesome. That means that they have the numbers to continue this and to decide to maintain. I mean, it's the preservation of games.
It is. It really is. And I would say it's so convenient. I have a 360. I have an Xbox One. I don't have to boot up my 360 as often as ever. There's so many games that I have digitally, or if a game comes out that is backwards compatible, I'll go into the Xbox 360 store, and if it's cheap enough, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Or if it's free, like right now, Lost Odyssey is.
Yes,
indeed. I mean, for a game to be free like that, I thought I had the thing. For a game to be free, and be backwards compatible is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just more free games for your catalog and for game preservation. You never know. This may be a game you want to play. Maybe a game you want to play, now, later on. Who knows? Lost Odyssey is one of those. I thought I had this set up, but apparently I don't. Lost Odyssey is actually one of my favorite games to have come out in quite, the past 15 years or so.
You were telling me about that.
As I kind of improv this, I apologize for the slight delay as I vamp just a little bit. But this...
But yeah, Lost Odyssey was supposed to be like one of the games that Xbox was pushing as, well, you can't play Final Fantasy over here, but hey, we have a really cool RPG for you.
Yeah.
And this is a thing.
Yeah, Lost Odyssey... a lot of it is very traditional. It's a traditional time-based RPG, but the story of you being an immortal, your memory is lost, is wiped, and you go and track down other immortals to take down the big evil thing. Okay, yeah, it's a slightly contrived story, but it's totally worth the time to play this and seeing like a lot of RPGs, the emotional connection between the characters and the character growth is just fantastic. And this is free right now. So not only is it backwards compatible, but it's free.
Yeah. And also I'm setting it, I actually set up the Microsoft account and connected it to that. Yeah, just to get Lost Odyssey, because I'm like, yeah, maybe. And
one day,
that's
you never know.
Just grab them.
You never know. One day you might play it. And speaking of that, BioShock is every BioShock game is now backwards compatible on Xbox One, which is great. I mean, they already have the BioShock collection. So if you want the remastered version of this, you can go out and grab that. BioShock Infinite, I don't think really needs a remaster. BioShock and BioShock 2, sure, but
it does look prettier and everything, but like it's kind of like The Last of Us. Like that was one of the prettiest PS3 games. The PS4 version, yes, I mean like objectively it looks prettier, but I mean, they had reached kind of a peak of what they could do with the 360.
Exactly. If you haven't played these games, again, this is one of those, in a must-play list. BioShock is going to be on there. BioShock Infinite possibly, but definitely BioShock because of how big it is in regards to gaming and in regards to narrative in games.
Yeah, and don't look up the ending.
Do not look up the ending, and do not watch the Hey Ash, what you playing of that, because it spoils that too.
Yeah, I actually got back in PS Plus at some point they gave us BioShock 2, and I was like, oh, well, I haven't played the first one.
I'll just jump in.
Oh. And then I played BioShock 2, and it didn't have a lot of the things that... the atmosphere, though.
The atmosphere and the gameplay are good.
That's one of the things that they nail.
The atmosphere and the gameplay are good. It's just the narrative is just not quite as tight. It's not quite as good. You don't have the nice reveal.
Yeah.
In addition to those backwards compatible games, we have some other backwards compatible games.
We do. We have a bunch.
We have Blue Dragon Skydive.
Blue Dragoon.
Blue Dragon Skydive?
I think those are two separate ones.
They're two different... Oh.
I could be wrong,
Blue
but
Dragoon.
I think it's Blue Dragoon.
There's no comma here, so I didn't know. So I'm gonna go. I know about Blue Dragoon though. I thought this was a different game. So I know about Blue Dragoon, which is a game that doesn't exist for me.
Okay. All right.
If you guys have ever seen our show
so
before,
you talk about Blue Dragoon, and I'll talk about Skydive.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen our show before or listened to our show on our podcast, because we love our podcast listeners.
We do.
If you haven't listened or watched our show before, if we come across a backwards compatible game that we do not know of at all, we decide to make it up on the spot, and this is what's going to happen right now.
Hi.
So Blue Dragoon is actually a sequel to the Sega Alexa Dragoon game. I don't know if you know that.
I thought it was going to be Panzer Dragoon. I thought there might be a connection there.
No, it's actually the very risque, almost rated M, if that was a thing. I don't know if that was a thing back in Genesis. It wasn't.
No.
It was before the ESRB stuff. So the very scandalous BDSM kind of thing.
Okay.
But they decided, all right, we're gonna bring it back, right? But we're gonna do it for kids.
BDSM for kids.
BDSM for kids. It's really weird, but it does teach consent at least.
That's important.
You do play a dragon.
Okay.
Whose name is Blue.
Okay.
And you go through some kind of platforming stuff, but there's some timed mini battle things that have to do with BDSM, but done in a kid-friendly way to teach kids consent. Because really, that's what BDSM is all about.
Yeah, and safe words.
And safe words, but that's consent. It's like, all right, I'm consenting this until I say my safe word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's his Blue Dragoon game that he made up and neglected dragoons entirely in favor of dragons. So the next game is Skydive, which is a game about I don't know if you ever played Pilot Wings.
Yeah.
Okay. So Pilot Wings, you're kind of going forward and like you're flying through all these different things. Skydive is kind of the same thing, but it's more like in the Lego games.
Yeah.
When you're flying through the rings.
Yeah.
And when you jump off the
jump over the helicarrier?
Yeah, off the helicarrier. Yeah, it's mostly that.
Okay.
But it's put as if this is an Olympic event.
Ooh.
So like there's medals and you can do tricks and stuff, but you can't be doing a trick. You have to finish the trick before you get into the ring. Like if you're in the middle of a twist in the ring, then they knock off all your points for that ring.
Okay.
So
it's kind of timed. You have to time it just the right way.
And the other fun thing about it is they did pretty well with the physics. And so like there are some tricks that will actually move you in one direction, and sometimes there's only like 2 or 3 different tricks that you can do between this ring and this ring because you have to be going this direction.
Yeah.
And if you try to do like a front flip, then you won't have the momentum to get over there. And so you go through and you kind of figure out how to do it, figure out which tricks you can do, and it's pretty fun.
It's like Trials or the BMX game, but
in a falling one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's
cool.
It's pretty fun.
That's a pretty cool game that doesn't exist.
So Planets Under Attack is the one you're going to make up.
Planets Under Attack. This game actually came out.
It's
Mars Attacks.
Okay.
It's Mars Attacks, but you play the Martians.
Okay.
Okay. So you play the Martians, and you attack different. You choose to attack different planets.
Okay.
So you can be friendly with them.
All right.
But it always even if you're friendly, it's kind of they try to make it a narrative where it could go multiple ways.
Okay.
But really, it always ends up with you just destroying the population of the planet.
Okay.
You can do it different ways. You could do it Independence Day style, where you just kind of go in and blast.
Yeah. You can blast everything, or you can do. Can you do like subterfuge type stuff?
Yeah, you can go in like Mars Attacks, where you're like, haha, I want to be friends with you. Yeah, let's shake hands, and I kill all you people.
Pew, pew.
Yeah, so there's multiple ways to do it. It is rather linear, and the story is essentially, because they were trying to kind of revitalize Mars Attacks.
Okay.
So it's that, and you're playing the Martians, who are not really Martians, but you're going through different planets. Specifically because you've ran out of the most important resource of your planet, which is gold.
Gold. Mm.
So you just destroy different planets to get their gold, which is why you don't go into gas giants, because they don't have gold.
Right.
You only go
That
to
makes
terrestrial
sense.
planets.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that mysterious and fictional game.
Yeah.
Next up we have CLANNAD.
Clanad?
Yeah, I mean that's one way to say it, but it's also clams lounging around, nefariously, and then Nad.
Nad.
Nad
Yeah.
is the name of the clam that you're.
Okay. And they call
lounging
them
around
Nefariously Nad.
Yeah, and
that
so
was
they,
the sequel, was Nefariously Nad, right?
Yeah, that is correct. And so you're a crab and you're going around on the beach and you're picking up things and you're collecting treasure and then dragging them back to your
Okay.
your house
Like Tomato.
nefariously.
Yeah.
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 So that's that one. Then we have Bully Scholarship Edition.
Which we actually know about.
Yeah.
Bully is great.
Bully's pretty wonderful.
Great game from the Rockstar guys, and it's a great showing of that they can do things other than Grand Theft Auto.
And things other than like gratuitous violence.
Yeah.
Like because you actually, the name of the game is Bully, but the way that you play it is actually as like a kind of a hero.
Yeah,
Like more so than any of the Grand Theft Auto games, which I think is cool.
I think it's great. It's a great game. Catherine is also great.
Catherine is superb.
Again, great game of storytelling, puzzles, which turns off a lot of people, but I swear. this is worth it in this game.
If you've been listening to the channel for a while, you know that I'm not into puzzles. But Catherine, the story and the surreal nature of the puzzles really helped me. And the other thing is that you don't go into a room and you're like, where's the puzzle? And it's like, no, there's these giant blocks in the sheep and everything. And yeah. Like you don't have to find the puzzle. It's and platforming and crawling around and everything. And the story is really fun because you get to pick between Catherine C and Catherine K.
Yeah.
And it's it's a very adult themed game, but
Not for
these are some of the decisions that real people have to make when it comes to, I mean, the very beginning of the game, he's engaged to Catherine with a C.
Yes.
And he meets Catherine with a K in a bar. And they seem to have a lot more in common, and it seems to be going a lot better. And, the pressure of planning the wedding and everything, and it is a really, really fascinating look into relationships, and it made me think, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
We also have Rascals.
Rascals. Raskulls.
Have you played Rascals?
Yeah, Rascals is the game. It's kind of a ripoff of the Warriors, but it's the Rascals. So we're technically not whatever, and so it's set on a farm. Like out in Amish country.
Okay.
And the Rascals are basically like the Amish mafia.
Ah, okay.
And so like one of the quintessential scenes of this particular game is when one of the guys comes out with 2 milk cans, and he says, "Rascals, come out to the hay field." and that's that game.
That's great stuff. That doesn't exist.
Nope. So yeah, those are the backwards compatible games, and I don't think we've seen that big of a list since they released.
We haven't.
Like they had the initial 50 or whatever, but like this is a good list. Like we said, there's some great games in there, including that clam one.
Yeah, it's a great way to end 2016.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, so Xbox, and I really want to know exactly the tech behind this.
Yeah.
Onto the gaming news to wrap up the year. So Major Nelson basically announced that there's a new Xbox One S update that is going to. I saw it was S, right? It wasn't just the one, or was it both?
I think it's just an OS update.
Okay, so then it'd be both. That is going to increase download speeds
Substantially.
yeah, substantially. So if you're on the S, I believe it's 80%, and if you're on the that's right. If you're on the one, it's like 40% or something.
Yeah.
Up to 40%.
But improved download speeds because yes.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people were like, "Well, how are they doing that?" It's all about efficiency of the CPU using your Wi-Fi connection or your wired connection.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing, especially for those who are getting a lot of digital games, which a lot of us are nowadays.
Yeah. That's what we do.
So we do the games, the Gold Plus Roundup. We do all the games with Gold and PlayStation Plus games, and so those are all digital. And I have to set them all. I set them all to download on my PC. Usually while I'm at work, I go, click, set them to download.
Yeah.
And I come home, and the small like indie games might be done.
Yeah.
But the
big
AAA's take
not
the
so
next
much.
day, because you're talking 45 gig. So I think that's great. I'm glad that they're continuing to make that a thing, which continues in the vein of them saying, we're not thinking in console generations anymore.
Yeah.
So
well, the other thing is these are things that these are not Xbox, Microsoft in general is no longer reacting to things. They're finding things that they believe that their customers want, and they're saying, "Hey, here's the thing. Here's some backwards compatible games. We figured out how to do this." They have their engineers working on the back end, trying to figure out how to make their system and constantly improve their system.
This is what we're obviously excited about video games because we do a friggin' weekly show about it. We talk about it constantly.
Yeah.
But what a time to live in, where we're getting not only are getting amazing games, we're having developers that are making amazing games, and the hardware manufacturers are continuing to try to meet our needs in ways that we wouldn't think of. If you had said 5 years ago, so 2 years before Xbox One came out, they're gonna continue to put pretty much all the Xbox 360 games that you want on the next Xbox, I'd have been like, no, they're not.
Why would they do that?
They'd eat their own sales. There's no way they do that. Yeah, because
especially considering how many remasters there have been this generation.
Exactly.
And speaking of remasters, our topic of the episode show for this week is remasters, because we complain about remastered games and why are they just doing this again?
Yeah,
Capcom. but there are games that genuinely would benefit from a remaster, whether it's because they were underplayed, underappreciated at the time, or because it's isolated to a single console, or for whatever reason, not as many people were able to play it.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for your answers, either on Twitch or on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Send us a message and let us know what game you wish would be remastered, specifically so that more people could play it than were able to play it the first time.
Exactly. And we'll talk about that on the topic of the episode show,
Yes.
which you can check out later on.
We do have more free stuff, and I always try to start off the show with free stuff because I'm
You
not
like free?
I have a finite budget.
Sure.
And we've been telling you about some of the stuff that Ubisoft's been putting out. Today is actually the last day that this is available until I believe 8:00 tonight.
Yeah.
You can go on and do the Uplay account, and you can get 7 free games and a bunch of other like free random things from Ubisoft, including things like Far Cry Blood Dragon and Prince of Persia, and like so many fun things.
Yeah.
And these Beyond Good and Evil.
Mm-hmm. This is 8 p.m. on Sunday, so if you're watching this later on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast, we encourage you to follow us.
To have already done this.
To have already done this. Well, follow us on Twitter, because
Yeah.
we try to get these things out to you, but a lot of times the windows are very, very slim.
Yeah.
So we encourage you, follow us on Twitter. We will not spam you. We give out more gaming news and gaming deals, but
Yeah, some of the
fun.
gaming deals are things that we don't have a chance to get to.
Yeah.
Because it's like a one day Amazon sale or Best Buy's deal of the day or whatever. But yeah, like a lot of these games that Ubi's giving are really quality games.
this is one of my favorite games, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Sands of Time is amazing.
It is amazing. This
I like this one and Twin Princes. are my two favorites
as well. This is another game I would love. A Prince of Persia. Spoilers for my picks. I would love a remaster of all these. Prince of Persia is great. A remaster or a reboot. A proper good reboot, and by that I mean like kind of like they did for the new Friday the 13th reboot. You take the first three and go, hey, you know what's really good about these? Let's just mash them into one game and then give it to you. And it's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of free things, until the 20th, you can play Call of Duty Infinite for free on Xbox One, on
Infinite
PS4.
Warfare. You can do. I was kind of disappointed that you can only do the first 2 levels of the campaign, because the campaign is the only thing I cared about, and I was like, yes, I'm going to be able to take this out in a weekend. But I'm not.
I felt the same way. I started playing this. This is actually my playthrough. If you're watching on YouTube, this is part of my playthrough. Which this game is so Star Wars for jocks that it's not even funny. But one thing that I, as an Uber nerd, you have the starting intro, and then after your intro cinematic, they're talking to you saying, "All right, we're going to land on Europa," and I'm like, "No! Don't go to Europa," because I'm a nerd.
Yep.
Yeah. There's reasons you don't go to Europa, but apparently they went to Europa.
Yeah, they did.
Which,
how'd that go for them?
Not very well. But I haven't seen the backlash specifically from Europa. There have been some interesting story things going on, mostly in regards to technology and AI. They're not done as well as I would like, but I think that's because I'm busy watching things like Black Mirror that really push the limits, where it's good gameplay. I'm not great at first person shooters, but it's been pretty good gameplay. It's a decent story, but I was irritated that it was the first 2 pieces, because I finished those. And I want more, but I'm not going to pay $60. I'm not going to pay $50.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, you and I've talked about this before. I would love for Call of Duty to say, here's the full game, and if you want just the single player campaign, here's $20.
Yeah, and I would pay that annually.
$20, and then you can do a little within that menu. Just here's
if you want to buy the whatever, do this. Yeah,
if you're liking it. I mean, if they did that, said, hey, $20 for the single player, and you can play one map of multiplayer.
I don't even need that.
No, because if they did that, then what would happen was you'd go, oh, okay. Some people, not you, but some people would go, I'm going to try out the multiplayer. Okay. And if they liked it, then they might buy it. Now, zombies is not going to be included in that.
No,
that'd be a poor business decision, because you just play zombies the entire time.
Zombies is pretty awesome. or you could have a thing like after you finish the 5th wave, then it goes into like the Overwatch slow motion victory, and then like it just doesn't let you play anymore.
And that's it. Yeah.
I mean
I think it'd be a really good business decision. You mentioned a yearly kind of subscription kind of thing. I mean, I don't know if you said yearly.
Well, I said that I would pay $20 a year to play the campaign.
Oh yeah, I would too. I usually end up going and red boxing these.
Yeah.
Specifically because I like the campaigns, but I'm not going to pay $60 for a 5 hour or 6 hour campaign.
Yeah.
Which this one I put in about 2 hours, and I know I'm nowhere near done with. I think this one probably has like 12 to 16 hours of a campaign, which is cool. But 12 to 16 hours of a campaign has got to be really good for me to play, put down $60 on.
Yeah.
Last Guardian has been amazing. I've heard that one's relatively short. We put in, I think, 3 hours in. Okay. But I highly recommend that game. We didn't get a chance to talk about that.
No, we have not.
So Last Guardian, for those of you who don't know, Last Guardian was supposed to come out in 2000. So it was announced in 2009.
Supposed to be a PS3 launch title.
So no, it wasn't going to launch. It was announced the same year. So I checked that. I thought it was a launch title, but it was damn near a launch title. It was supposed to come out like a year and a half, 2 years after the launch.
Yeah,
that's close enough. And for a lot of reasons, it got delayed. And this game, if this game came out and whatever developer came out and said, hey, I've got a brand new IP, this is it, I would go, I don't know. But to know that the history behind this game and play it and understanding that, this has been one of my favorite games to play this year. It's a blast. I feel like you have to have that caveat to it. I don't have to have that for Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But for this game, if you understand this game was supposed to come out 7 or 8 years ago.
And some of the mechanics, like triangle to jump.
Yep. And if you're on Trico, you can't just jump. Like you have to make sure you're kind of at the right footing, and then you can jump, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But it can be frustrating. I do like that with a lot of the frustrations on that, which are similar to like Shadow of the Colossus, except you don't have a grip meter.
Yeah.
Like in Shadow of the Colossus, but absolutely love it. The frustrations that I have with the controls aren't too bad because this is more of exploring and solving everything that's there. The combat is not as much of a focus.
Yeah.
So I think
it's more about the experience.
Yeah, and because of that, I think it works really well. If this was if this had more combat in it, then I would say this is trash because you can't do that. But but Trico is amazing. Trico as a character is fantastic. So I wanted to make sure I got to talk about that. You've been playing more Dragon Quest Builder stuff.
Yes. You had asked last week on the show about whether to keep building your city or whatever.
Yeah. So you start off in a city, and I was like, is this where
is this my city?
Should I spend time? I didn't want spoilers, but I said, should I spend time? Significant time, building this thing up, fortifying it, making it how I want.
Right. And I wouldn't discourage that. It's fun. And then after you finish that section, then the voice in the sky is like, Nymeria, my child, or whoever your character is. My child, you need to go explore this other place, and so you go there. But you can come back to yours, and you also have I don't know if you've seen any of the dragons yet.
I haven't.
Okay, so they're just kind of laying about in different places. There's one if you go over the mountains from the first. I think it's north.
Okay.
But if you go over the mountains there, not to the poison swamp area, but to the other area, there's a green dragon there.
Okay.
And then there's dragons in other places, and if you kill all 3 dragons, then that's like an objective or achievement or whatever for that section.
Okay.
So even after you go to other sections, you can come back to this one and kind of keep building it. There's more things to do.
Cool.
So spend all the time you want building it. It's not your only city.
Yeah.
But
it is.
You're gonna like I was checking on where you were. You'll be there for a while yet.
Yeah.
So
what happened with me on the playthrough, because the game is, if you haven't heard of Dragon Quest Builders, the game is it's an isometric. It's basically an isometric.
It's isometric Minecraft. with in the Dragon Quest universe.
Yeah. And what happened was I was continuing the quests until I got my mallet. I got the big hammer.
Yeah.
And once I got the big hammer and I went through the portal, I was like, oh, there's all these resources.
Yep.
So I filled the coffer, and you can only have one colossal coffer.
Yeah.
I guess per city, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So I filled it, and I'm like, oh no, because I built 2 more colossal coffers, specifically because I wanted to have like a ridiculous inventory to make stuff. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you can, but the main thing is to get rid of the ground.
Yeah.
If you get rid of dirt,
yeah.
and you're not holding on to that, and there's no reason to have that in there because you can't use it except on your person. You don't use it to build anything.
Well, you can build dirt walls.
Right, but what I'm saying is you can't, when it's in the coffer, you can't build anything. You have to have it out of the coffer. And so there's no reason to keep it in there.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because it automatically puts it in there. That's why I had I think I had a row and a half of dirt. I just discarded all of it because I'm like, I have dirt everywhere. I need to worry about coffer.
So if you're not playing Dragon Quest Builders, look for it on sale. They're doing it on sale pretty regular. It's on PS4 and Vita, and we're enjoying it. The next little bit of news is Crytek employees are not getting paid again.
Yeah.
This was a problem that was happening
3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not okay. You got to pay people.
Yeah.
And so
the reason that they gave, which is still not a right reason, and I find it funny that they publicly gave this. The reason that they gave was, we needed to make sure we didn't declare bankruptcy. So the funds were so low that if they had paid out their employees, the amount of money that they had was low enough that they would be declaring bankruptcy.
I understand that, you know, you go to work, you have your projects or whatever, but like, if they stop paying me, I stop going to work.
Yeah.
like this is kind of how this goes, and I hope they figure it out, and I don't know what will happen to the various projects that they were working on, but they've already been rescued before.
Yeah.
They reached the same place. They didn't learn their lesson. I'm sorry, that just needs to go away.
I think they'll probably be rescued again. Now I looked into this a little bit more because I've seen this happen in corporations before. I've seen this happen in companies before for not legit reasons, but they were like, oh, there was this mistake and this is why it happened.
Yeah.
Also, different international laws that happen when it comes to payroll. So the first thing that I thought was, did they not transfer the money quick at the right time?
Yeah.
I've seen that happen in companies where you're like, all right, I need to pay people in India. All right, we're going to transfer the money, and it takes like 4 or 5 days to hit the account, so they don't.
Yeah.
So the employees don't get paid. Another interesting thing that I am experiencing in my company right now, Philippines. This is the stupidest law ever if you understand math. Philippines for hourly salary, whatever. They're based on a 13-month. You get paid once a month, and it's a 13-month calendar. It's 12 months plus you just get an extra month of pay.
Okay.
So, if you're smart, you just divide that into 13 instead of 12, and you pay it out that way.
Yeah.
The law is supposed to be like, oh, look, you get this bonus check. You don't get a bonus check.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get paid for easy numbers, if you get paid $13,000 a year, right, and there's a 13-month, you get paid 13 times a year, you get $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
You don't get a bonus. You just a little bit was held out of every month, and you get another check. I mean, I do not understand it, but it's the dumbest math. But I've seen that get delayed because of a company being an American company. You're busy thinking payroll American on the America side, and you're like, wait, we have to pay. Oh yeah, we have to pay them again. Which again, it's part of the budget, but that is the dumbest lie.
It's pretty weird. Something that's not dumb though is the Oculus Rift is going to or is I don't remember exactly.
Right now.
Okay. So if you have an Oculus Rift and you have an Xbox One, then you can do theater mode, and you can just have a giant imaginary screen to play video games on, and that makes me happy. That sounds awesome.
One thing some people I saw in the comments were kind of poo-pooing this. I think it's cool because the biggest reason they were saying was, well, it's lower resolution. Okay. Well, my TV looks about like that when I'm sitting and playing, video games. It's about that far away.
Yeah.
So not that far, but you see you're as it gets closer.
Yeah.
To be able to play this, you're playing Xbox One to Oculus Rift. Now, I did look up into this as well. If you looked into exactly how it works, you have to have it hooked up to your PC. So people were thinking, oh, this is Microsoft's answer to the PSVR. No, because you need a gaming rig.
Yeah.
You need a rig. You need an Xbox One, and then you can play your Xbox games on this.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is really convenient, especially if you want to play. If you're wanting to play something, to me, driving games are really cool with this. This isn't real VR. It's basically just putting it on a screen in front of you. That's the adjustment, so you can get closer to your face. Making sure that your focus is right.
Basically what this is, and again, this is just something this is not a reply to anything. This is just something they thought would be cool.
Yeah. Now, I did think it was a reply to how PlayStation, because you can do this with the PSVR.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
A non-VR game you can set up in theater mode, and you can play it this way. Now, one other thing I think is really cool about this, when it comes to the PlayStation version, not this one, the PlayStation version, in your theater when you're playing it, I don't know if theater mode, but I know VR, it puts it on your screen as well as your goggles, which I think is really cool. I think this is really cool if you're in a family that has a limited amount of TVs.
Yep.
It's like I have one TV.
Well, one of the other things is like if you have a smaller apartment.
Yeah.
Or whatever, then this gives you the ability to have a TV that is unreasonable to have in your physical location.
Yeah, if your gaming setup, because like you said you're in a small apartment, or maybe when you were buying you chose to invest in a really good monitor for your PC, and that's also your TV. I know I know people who do that. So if that is your setup to be able to do this and get in like comfy chair. Yeah. And relax. It's just it's great. I think it's fantastic. I'm again, like you said, it's Xbox saying we're going to give you something else, which I don't think will increase the sales of this that much of Oculus.
Yeah,
but
it's another layer of Xbox One's and Microsoft's kind of colluding with the Oculus Rift. So
yeah, it's really good.
So yeah, there you go with that.
It's really good.
So Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah.
Have you played that or that series? I guess?
Have not. I have heard of it, but
I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I have to be very careful about which big, humongous RPGs I put on my, because like I can do maybe 2 or 3 like big full size games a year.
Yeah.
Because like I mean I was working on Dark Souls until a couple months ago.
Yeah. And you're gonna probably have to jump back into that for Ashes.
Yeah, I need to. I keep buying them. They're there. I did go ahead and restart, and so I'm back up to. I got to the Road of Sacrifices.
Okay, you doing New Game Plus or just regular? Or
no, I started a new character.
Okay, cool.
Let's take it back. I got all the way to the Crystal Sage.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going through that, and I want to do that with a new character, but I'm gonna go ahead and go past. Like the entrance, and then I'm gonna get all the pyromancies and all the miracles and stuff that I want, and then come back.
That makes sense.
But anyway, Valkyria Chronicles and stuff is a series that's been going on for a long time. Very, very anime and really pretty. And the stories, like they kill playable characters, and like there's an entire universe around this. But the next one, Valkyria Revolution, now has a release window, at least. Yeah. It's going to come out in spring of 2017, and this is one of those. It's coming out on PS4 and Vita. Yeah. And so I'm excited because this is the first time that this series has been available on Vita.
Yeah.
And so I will probably buy this.
Yeah.
And even if not at launch, definitely sometime.
Yeah. I'm glad they're putting on this Vita, because Vita is a great console that not enough people are playing. It's dead, but it's not dead to the people who have one.
Well, and the Mike Bithell, who when he released Volume on PS4, he was like, cool, and then it came out on Vita, and he doubled his sales.
Yeah,
like we're just a really excited group of people.
Yeah.
And
we are. I was going to say, in contrast to the Wii U, so the Wii U is considered a dead console. To the people who have them, a lot of them like it, and a lot of them have the console and go, oh, I play it every now and then. Most Vita owners play it a lot.
Yeah, regularly.
So, I mean, I have a Wii U.
And the other thing is like with the Wii U. I mean, you've got retro games, whatever, the Virtual Console, the Wii back library or whatever. But like those are like particular mood games, whereas Vita. Okay. You know how much we love Vita, and so we're not going to bore you with that, but yeah, so that's really fun.
Yeah.
And then we also have, speaking of release dates, in spring, Yooka-Laylee is coming out April 11th.
Yeah.
And we're excited about this. This is one of the more promising and exciting titles that have gotten crowdfunded and come up here, and this game looks ridiculous and fun. And I'm looking forward to it. I never actually played the Banjo-Kazooie games.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks like fun, and it's something that I'm pretty confident I'll be able to play with the girls.
Oh yeah.
So
I played this. I was kind of getting ready for bed and was playing a couple trailers off the PlayStation, and popped onto this one. And Whitney was saying, "Wow, yeah, that looks like it looks like was it Spyro and all these other games." I was saying, yeah, and she mentioned Banjo-Kazooie, and I said, yeah. I don't think that's really a bad thing either. And she's like, no, I guess not. I mean, because the mechanics are there. The mechanics are that's very Donkey Kong right here with the
minecart basically.
Minecart, but at the same time, that game looks like a blast. The graphics look great for what they're trying to do for that style.
Yeah.
And another thing that I like about these types of games that people don't, I don't think people give enough credit to. This game 10 years from now is going to hold up.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ratchet and Clank, the reboot that they did recently, that game has a lot of the have you played Ratchet and Clank?
I have.
I
haven't played the new one. I got it on Black Friday though.
Right, but you don't have to play the new one because you'll get this. Okay, so you know that mechanic that you meet first mission once you get onto the planet or whatever. Okay, so whenever you encounter him in the reboot, he asks you, he's like, "You look familiar," and then as you start to go through the process, he's like, "I feel like I've done this before," and then right before you leave, just in case anybody missed it, he's like, "All right, see you at the next reboot." And I was like, "Yes, this is it's funny. They're kind of going with what they have, and they're doing all this stuff.
It's really brilliant. I picked that up on Black Friday. That was one of my gets, holiday gets, and I picked up that, and that's when I finally picked up Overwatch and a few others, and I think I'm in a situation now that a lot of us gamers have where we don't have enough time for all the games we have. I have Final Fantasy. I have the Batman games that I'm going through on YouTube and Twitch, and then I have what else? Last Guardian, WWE. WWE's been my go-to. I've got 10 minutes, I'll play a match. It takes the place where Rocket League had been before.
I can see that,
but I don't have enough time for all these games. But I want to play them.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
So our next one is
speaking of
Overwatch. The holiday season, all this has started and kicked off and everything. So and as I said, Torbjorn did end up being Santa.
Yep.
The extra match is something with where everybody gets to be May. And you're instead of your little icicles shooty thing, then you're actually throwing snowballs, and then you have to go find more snow to reload.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play some of these. I've liked.
Also, yes, Symmetra's new stuff is up, and that makes me happy. Also, you want that Winston?
Yes,
skin.
I do want that Winston
so
skin.
bad.
He's Bumble.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. No, Blizzard does a great job of giving you holiday, holiday content, and this has been a really cool way of that. So to get the Winston skin, because I haven't been playing very much, so I've got. Do I have to buy that, or is that a loot box?
You can. I mean, everything can potentially come through on the loot box, but that's a legendary.
Yeah.
And so it's going to cost 3,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're going to be able to get it.
Yeah. All right.
But
so
I do have some strategies on how to maximize how many loot boxes you get. If you win 9 arcade games, you can do this once a week. You can get 3 loot boxes that way.
Okay.
And then you can also, if you win one of the Maze Wonderland whatever thing, and if you win a 6v6 random match, and I can help you with that.
Okay.
Then you can get 2 more that way. So you can get them regularly, but you can also get a couple of bonus ones in specific ways. So I encourage y'all to check that out.
Yeah. Overwatch is fun.
Yes. And Turtle Rock is doing a new game that is definitely not Evolve.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm kind of excited about that.
These are the guys that did Left 4 Dead, which was a fantastic game. They didn't do Left 4 Dead 2. They did the first Left 4 Dead, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken on that. I know they created Left 4 Dead, and this was one of my favorite games. Evolve is good, but Left 4 Dead in the slew and the onslaught of zombie games that we have. Left 4 Dead is fantastic. And this is supposed to, the new game that they're going to be doing is a dark fantasy game.
Yeah, that was the phrase that they used to kind of describe it. And it's going to be another first-person shooter, which I'm more okay with than I used to be. First-person shooter used to be something that I was like, but there have been a couple, because like the Far Cry series, Fallout, and Overwatch are games that I've really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've kind of gotten on board with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the last, I think there's the last bit. So 8-Bit is a company that works on doing vinyl. Like I want that vinyl for Journey soundtrack. Like, it's so pretty, and it's got the scarf flowing out across it, and it's an orange vinyl, and I don't even have a turntable, but I want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really big about vinyl and about game music and getting things, just perfect.
Yeah.
And so they've announced that they're doing one for Ocarina of Time. And like I said, even without anything to play the physical music on, the art that they've done, like the sleeve and the disc itself, are just beautiful. And so I encourage you to go check out. I think it's at like 8-bit.com or something. But if you look up 8-bit vinyl, you'll
or
find it.
if you look in our sources on the little link, you'll be able to see it there. And this is fully, it's a full orchestra. It's their arrangement of it, because I know Nintendo has done their own Zelda orchestra, but this is specifically Ocarina of Time,
right?
And full orchestra. It's amazing. I'm loving the vinyl that's been coming out lately. You mentioned the art on vinyl. Disney's done some amazing ones with Star Wars and The Lion King. I saw Lion King on vinyl, and it looks, you see like the Rock, and you see Mufasa and everything. Oh, it's just it's really cool to see that, because
that is cool.
And I'm looking at that going, how did they do that with the way they used to do vinyl pressing?
Yeah.
There's no way, because they'd have to put it on afterwards. I'm like, if you put it on afterwards, how's that going to affect the sound? But it's supposed to be still pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But
I take it back. We did have one other bit.
We did.
The For Honor game with the samurai, the one that I have all of the historical issues with.
Yeah.
And my history nerd goes nuts on. But yeah, the For Honor thing. Even if you're playing like the single player, I don't want to play it, I don't want to talk to anybody, you still have to have a connection. Which is actually the same thing that they did with Super Mario Run.
That's
earlier
same
this
thing
week.
that happened with Super Mario Run.
Just I don't know if it's an anti-piracy thing, but it's not a consumer friendly thing.
Yeah. I think it's an anti-piracy thing. Now, I will say and admit, in the Metroplex where we are, this is not going to affect me if I play the game.
Yeah.
But it's annoying for those who have spotty internet connections.
Well, and specifically on like Xbox stays up.
Yep.
PlayStation goes down.
PlayStation
every
goes
couple
down
of
for,
weeks
well,
for a few hours, especially like if you have Mondays off, which I do. That's a problem because if it won't let me if it won't let me in, that's not going to work for me.
Now, the reason being PlayStation does now. I understand doing an unplanned maintenance when you have to do something. That's fine. PlayStation does it every couple weeks, or at least once a month. They'll have like an unplanned maintenance where you've got 3 or 4 hours of no gameplay. Now, if you can do it planned, that's perfect. But sometimes you can't. Blizzard has their Tuesday morning every single Tuesday for like the past 10 years. That's when Blizzard does their thing, and everything goes down at that time. But they do it at a time that they think most people aren't playing. Tuesday between, I think it's like midnight and 10 a.m. So it's or 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. or something, or 12. But it's
just say random numbers. That'll
12
give
27
people information.
And a
5.
But so with this one, I don't have as much of a problem personally. It's going to affect some people who have spotty internet connections. Super Mario Run, I've got a problem with
because you're supposed to have that out. And doing stuff.
I pay like we were talking earlier. We're texting about like the paywall behind it, which is annoying, but I paid it. I mean, I went ahead and paid it.
I don't have a problem with it, mostly because I feel like the mobile market Need somebody to step in and say, hey, games are worth something.
And it's quality.
We made it.
It is really good quality.
Yeah.
I've only played the first. So you have like 4 levels, dungeon, and then the next tier, right?
Okay.
So I've gone through the first tier, whatever it's called. But then I'm going back and replaying them constantly.
Yeah, because it's got the different, like the special coins that you're going
They change.
for. Yeah.
So if you get all the special coins, you go up to the next tier,
Yeah.
and there's 3 tiers of those.
Yeah.
So I've replayed it, and like it's frustrating, but at the same time, I'm constantly having fun. I'm never irritated. It's frustrating. I'm like, oh man, I missed that coin, but I'm having so much fun playing the level. I'll play it.
Yep.
I'll do it again.
Yep.
It's a
and
blast.
that's the thing is like, okay, so in case any of you were wondering if I'm raising my kids right,
Yep.
occasionally they say things that let me know that yes, I am raising my kids right. So I was playing games with the girls have like their little Kindles and everything, and I was talking with them about game development, and it was like, hey, so if you wanted to make a game, what kind of game would you make?
Yeah.
We talked about that for a little while, and Nora was kind of quiet after the conversation, and she said, Daddy, you know, if I make a game, I think I want to make a real game. Not these games where you have to play a little bit and then they want you to pay more money. I just want you to buy the game and then you can play my game.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that is a real game. That is how real games work.
That is how real games work. But
And so-
I look at that and go, that game is great. It's worth the money. I will pay the money and then I will play it.
Yeah.
As opposed to unlocking each section.
Do you-
Or giving me an option to do that. The Telltale games.
Yeah.
I buy season passes of Telltale
Yeah,
games
yeah.
because I know for my they're quality games. I know you're not a fan of some of the bits of it, but they're really quality games. And I'm playing through the Batman one, and I love it. It tells you like the percentage and stuff like of your choices.
Well, see,
but
and-
I paid $25.
Yeah.
For a lot of good content, as opposed to $5 here, $10 here. No, just give me the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad Super Mario Run, $10.
Well, and there's also situations like DLC or like with supersonic rocket powered acrobatic battle cars.
Yeah, Rocket League.
Also that one. Like they gave me a full game.
Yep.
And then they're like, hey, do you want some more cars? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Give me more cars. And I'm supporting that not because I feel obligated to or because I need to get to this other tier, these other fun maps or whatever. And yeah, I have no problem doing that. I don't actually play Dark Souls DLC, but I buy it all because I love what they make.
Yeah.
And like I bought Dark Souls 2.
Yep.
And the DLC.
Yep.
Never played it.
Never played the DLC.
And then I bought the Scholar of the First Sin. So I'll play it there.
Which I picked up that as well. That's where I'll be playing it. So now I have Dark Souls, Scholar, and 3. I have everything, including the
And
DLC.
Bloodborne.
And Bloodborne. And I have all the DLC for those. I haven't played the DLC for those. The Ashes will be the first time I play DLC.
They gave you the DLC for 1, or you bought it?
I bought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've heard that's
Yeah.
some of the best. Artorias of the Abyss is one of the best storylines that came out of Dark Souls.
And I haven't played it, so that's one thing I'm probably going to be doing. Hopefully next year, 2017, because allegedly we're not going to get any more Dark Souls. So I'm probably going to play through all the Dark Souls games, and be able to play the DLC as well, and playing the Scholar, the first one, and then the third one, obviously with Ashes and whatever else they put out.
And I'm looking forward to seeing kind of where it goes from here, because I know that they want to do other stuff and whatever, and like I'm okay with them taking time off. And when like one of the things that they talked about with Uncharted, if you listen to some of the previews where they were talking about, so what about the DLC, and they're like, we're making the game. We're gonna do this, and then like they put out the single player DLC because they felt that they had another story to tell. The Left Behind story is something that they were doing. They were playing, and they were like, okay, so we have this other story that we want to tell,
Yeah.
but it doesn't fit in the narrative, in the flow of
Yeah.
The Last of Us. So they kind of put that aside, and then they released it later.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2, they had said, we don't know if we're going to ever do another story in this universe, and they didn't they didn't finish Last of Us and then do Left Behind and then go into The Last of Us
Yeah.
Part 2. He said, we didn't know if we had another story to tell.
Yeah.
And because they didn't have another story to tell, they didn't do anything with it. And this is kind of the same thing with Miyazaki-san and the Soul series. Like if he doesn't have that, if he doesn't have the things
vision.
to push out, the vision, the ideas, the concepts, the bosses, the world, the whatever, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I will wait, and I would rather have no more Dark Souls than have bad Dark Souls.
I agree. Even okay, so saying that, and since you just said that, Dark Souls 2, not done by him.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game.
It's not.
But how would you feel if he said, I'm done, and someone else took up the mantle?
Okay.
Because,
I would be okay with that, but I would want them to do like Neo is somebody else taking on that idea.
Yeah.
The Lords of the Fallen was somebody else trying to take on that idea, and so it's kind of created its own genre. So even without them doing without From Software being involved, we are going to get more quote Dark Souls games, and that's fine. And I plan to play most of them.
And what I love is that these games, people are taking on this subgenre that's now become its, a Souls-like game, if you will, trademark Patrick. But if that becomes a subgenre, I'm liking that people are exploring different ways to do it. It's not all been okay. A lot of it's been dark fantasy.
Yeah,
but Neo is, let's do this in an Eastern. It's the different environment.
Who was it that was doing the sci-fi one? Remember that?
I know they're doing it.
Yeah, it was somebody that I completely did not expect, but they were like, hey, we came up with an idea. We're going to do this Souls-like gameplay in a sci-fi setting. That sounds awesome.
If it works.
Yeah.
See, you said that, and immediately the first thing that I thought was, can I get a really good, Star Wars game, Star Wars Dark Souls like Star Wars game in the gritty underbelly of Coruscant and going through. I would love that. I would love that.
It would also be really fun if, I like the idea of not everybody's a Jedi.
Yeah.
And so like if you're playing a non-Jedi character in the Star Wars universe, the main issue that I see with Star Wars is the abundance of blasters. Like gunplay is going to have to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And that's
well,
Souls is about close combat.
It is about close combat.
I don't know.
You can have blasters, but there are some species and people that prefer vibra swords. So you have that going for you. There's other
there are sections in that universe where it would work.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could do it where in this version you're going to have more of the ranged combat. So you're going to have different ways to dodge and everything. But so basically, like more archers. Think of like a Dark Souls game where not 3/4, maybe 2/3 of who you're going up against are archers.
Yeah.
So it's a different way to play it, but.
Well, I mean, then you would have to you would have to lean into level design, because you would do a lot more sneaking, and that's something that you don't typically do in Souls games is sneaking, and so that allows a lot more. So we hope we get more Souls games.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's the news we have for this week. We are going to take next week off. We have some pretty fun projects we're looking into. We are going to do an end of the year thing.
We're going to do our year-end wrap-up where we're actually going to do it in January because we want to talk about games.
And have a little bit more perspective.
Yeah.
Particularly with Final Fantasy 15 coming out so close to the end of the year. Like, I can't really think of anything else that's... I mean, Last Guardian. Yeah. But yeah, there's been a couple that were right up against the cusp of the year.
Yeah.
And some of these came out after Game Awards shows declared games of the year,
Exactly.
and we don't want to do that. So we want to put it into January because we think it's worth a month for us to try to get a better perspective on it and give it more lasting appeal. So
Yep.
that, 5 years from now, if you're watching us, hello from the past. But 5 years from now, we want this to be a list that is somewhat biased based on what we had then at the time.
Sure.
But we also want it to be a solid look
Yeah.
at what was happening then and a window into the past.
Yeah, I want to look back and see everything as opposed to like the Game Awards. So many of their games that they nominated and got awards of came out in 3 or 4 months prior to the Game Awards show.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Oscars does it in a very a good way, where they give us give you time to digest, and then
Yeah.
you look at the entire list and go, okay, well, how do we feel about these?
Well, they're also getting paid hand over fist.
yeah, that too. We're not.
No, we're not. So that's what we got for the news this week, and we will see you next year.
Yeah. Take care.